is high level data flow, which talks about different modules. Okay. In center you see Demantra, right? Yeah. So it's prepared for two different applications, this flow diagram. Okay. For example, top one which you see is integrated within the entire Oracle applications, EBS, Demantra and ASCP. Okay, and at the same time below one is showing about the integration which is non-Oracle EBS. Okay, JD is a non-Oracle application earlier. Okay, now I think they acquired it, but earlier it was a third-party application. Okay, now so whenever you talk about the data, right, so first you have to think, whenever you want to implement Demantra, what kind of data you have to bring in to Demantra to make the system up and running. Okay, that's the first important point. Okay, first once you identify the data points or data elements, then you need to understand how we load the data to Demantra, right? So before identifying these data points, you should understand what is the source of truth or what is the source application from where you want to bring the data to Demantra. Okay, so there are three things to understand. One is what is your source, meaning like from where you're trying to bring the data. Like for example, the first diagram, right, is Oracle EBS, where you have all your transactional data, right? So when it traces transactional data, EBS consists of various modules, right? Inventory, purchase orders, order management, receivables, next payables, fixed assets, so on and so forth, right? But from Demantra point of view, from EBS, the main modules which it considers is inventory, next is order management, and your customers, ARs, right? So these are three important areas which you need. Now, once you have proper data in your Oracle EBS, once you identify the data points, now it's the time to bring the data from EBS to Demantra. Okay, so there are multiple ways to bring the data from EBS to Demantra. So in our first case, right, in the first diagram which we are talking about, this we call as end-to-end Oracle application, end-to-end Oracle integration. Meaning here you don't see any third-party application as part of this integration. When I say third-party, for example, similar to Oracle EBS, in the market you have SAP, Salesforce, um, and Microsoft Dynamics 365. These are all different ERP applications. They are similar to Oracle EBS. Okay, so they are the situations where you integrate your Demantra system with non-Oracle EBS. Maybe you might be integrated Demantra with SAP. Maybe you integrate Demantra with some other application like Microsoft Dynamics, etc. Right? So there are different ways to implement Demantra when you are integrating with Oracle EBS and when you are integrating Demantra with non-Oracle EBS. Okay. Now let's first understand the concept of how we integrate the Demantra to standard Oracle EBS and standard Oracle ASCP. So the first diagram is talks about that functionality. Now, as I say, so Demantra, what you need is you need items, organizations, calendars, shipment history, booking history, UOM conversions. So these are mandatory, but most importantly for you, it is items, organizations, customers, and shipment booking history. Okay, so these all data that will sit in EBS, right? So whenever integrating EBS, the standard Demantra or ASCP, the way it works is whatever the data you have in EBS, to pull the data, we have standard program called collect shipment history and booking history. Request set on the EBS side. Okay, I'll make it. I'll write it here. Collect So this is a request set which will trigger on ASCP to get the data from EBS to Demantra. Okay, so the flow would be something like this. Okay, I'll put it in a Excel sheet. Abhishek, you can stop me if you have any questions, sir, if you are not following me, so that I can
Okay,
record. with that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's put a simple diagram. Okay, or not a diagram. Let's put this way in my Oracle EBS. Okay. And this is my yeah, Demantra. This is my ACP. Okay. Okay. Right. So in EBS, I'm considering items, orgs, customers, and my sales order information. Sales orders, when a sales order, it could be bookings history or shipments history. Okay. Apart from there, like some other data point, but to start with, right? These are the main things which you have to collect if you want to make see the data in Demantra. Okay. So this all sits in your EBS, right? So once your data is here, now let's go to the ACP. Now why we need ACP? So generally, when you want to bring data from EBS to Demantra, it's not a straightforward integration. Generally, the way it works is first you collect the data from Oracle EBS to ACP. From ACP to it goes to Demantra. Okay, so there's a standard integration between Oracle EBS to uh, ACP. That is ACP collections. You'll say that is ACP collections. So whenever you run ACP collections, whatever your item, organizations, customer, sales order, that gets copied to ACP application. Okay. From here, from ACP, it goes to Oracle Demantra data. Okay. So to get the data from ACP to Demantra, I mentioned that program, right? Collect shipment and booking history. That is a program you trigger to get the data from ACP to Demantra. This is a job. This is how it should be. Okay. So this is the best way for you to understand this one, right? So from EBS to ACP first use the ACP collections. So when you run this, all this data gets copied to ACP, right? So when you run this program, all this data gets copied to Demantra.
Hello.
Okay.
Actually, like I have attended my session in my organization. That person told me like first from data will load from ABS to Demantra, then it will go to Oracle ASAP.
No, no. I'll tell you the reason.
Okay.
Okay. Why? So this is standard process. Okay. Okay, now tell me the question. When you say data goes from Oracle EBS to Demantra directly, right? Let's assume there is no ACP. Okay, let's
Right.
understand this. Okay,
Right.
then let's understand as per your point. All data goes from EBS to Demantra, right? Now tell me which program you will trigger to load data from Oracle EBS to Demantra.
Acha, okay. Actually, in my project, there is some custom collection process.
Hmm.
Like technical person in doing that. So Sage loading data from
Hmm.
through the customer collection
Hmm.
um, procedure.
Hmm.
Sage running the customer collection and data is coming to the mantra.
Correct. Right. So the one which you are talking about is a custom process. It's not a
Yes.
standard functionality, right? Now we are
Yes.
looking at this standard Oracle provided functionality.
Okay. Okay.
See, if you don't have any customization in place, right? There's no customization involved, right? You are planning to have the standard Oracle flow, right? So this should be the flow when you are following a standard Oracle practice, right? Let's
Okay.
assume, based on your point, right? Directly I'm pulling data from EBS to Demantra, right? Let me, I'll add, copy this again, okay? Custom process, custom Demantra data collections. Now I'll tell you the one which you mentioned me, right? In this case, generally what happens, you'll not have this part. Okay. Now, what you are doing in this case, see whatever this job is doing, right? Not sorry, not this one. Whatever this particular concurrent request set, basically we call this as a request set. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This request set is on ASCP. Okay, basically this request set is on ACP, right? So when you don't have Oracle ACP, so in that case, in your client, the client for which you are working, right, they might not be ACP with you. Okay. uh,
Yes, we have both Oracle Demantra, ACP both.
but you are Oracle EBS, then why you are not collecting standard collection?
I don't know, but they are moving data from Oracle EBS to Demantra. Then after that, Demantra will give data to ASAP for creating purchase requisition.
I'll tell you the reason also.
Okay.
Could be the possible reason, okay? But let's understand this one, okay? So let's assume even though if you have ASCP in your client with your client, they are not using this process. There could be the reason. First, they have implemented EBS, they implemented Demantra, okay, that is the reason they built the custom collections. Later on, they implemented ASCP. Since already they have a custom process in place, they don't want to disturb the existing functionality. So that is the reason they following the same old functionality, directly pulling data from EBS to Demantra.
Okay.
In your client, the ASCP might have come into picture later point of time after implementing EBS and Demantra. Okay, so in your case, generally what they are doing is whatever the job this particular thing will do, right? Use whatever the logic it has, they build that logic on top of AVS tables and they're directly collecting to Demantra tables. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
this process what you're following is similar to the non-Oracle EBS process. This process below diagram, right? Where you don't have any standard integration. So whenever in an interview, whenever they ask for a flow, right, you should tell the two flows basically. When they ask about the collection process, how we collect the data from data to Demantra means you have to mention two things. One is standard Oracle integration functionality and non-Oracle standard functionality. When you say standard functionality, we should show this flow to them. We should tell this. First data you come from EBS to ACP, from the ACP to Demantra, right? When they say non-Oracle standard functionality, basically it won't be Oracle based, it would be SAP or something else. Okay, so meaning where you don't have any standard integration, so generally what you do is using custom process or using your files, you load data from non-Oracle EBS to Demantra. So this follows the entire custom process. The second part. Okay,
Okay.
any questions?
No.
Right? No.
But I have one query. Like you are saying in the standard Oracle functionality, we are
Hmm.
loading data from the Oracle EBS to Oracle ACP, right? So
Mm-hmm.
through the ACP collection process. Okay.
Correct.
And like, what will be the role of ACP
Hmm.
in
I'll
this
tell you.
display?
Correct. So basically, your Oracle APS is your daily transactional data. When I say daily transactional data, for example, let's assume you are a bike manufacturing company, right? So generally produce a lot of bikes on day-to-day basis or a quarterly basis. At the end of the day, you'd be selling that to the customer, correct? So whenever you're selling a bike to a customer, first of all, the customer should request you for a bike, that is a purchase order, like you want to purchase something from you, right?
Right.
So against that purchase order you have some sales order, like you're selling something to a customer, right, where you ship to your orders, right?
Yeah, vendor will create this sales order. Yeah.
Correct, exactly. So this
Yes.
all will sit on your Oracle EBS, correct?
Yes.
Right. Now whenever you're manufacturing any item, all items are not planned items basically, right? Let's assume um, best example could be your TV, right? So when you
Yes.
purchase TV, with TV what you'll get, you get a TV, or you get an adapter, and you get the manual also, how to use that particular TV, user manual you get, right?
Yes.
So out of these three, to manufacturing a TV, it is a cost, like it needs some dollar amount to
Raw-
manufacture TV, right?
Yeah, raw material, right?
Raw material, and you need some dollar amount to assemble the TV, right? You have to spend some
Right.
money on, right?
Yes.
Good amount of
Cost.
money.
Yes.
A doctor also you have to spend some amount of money, or you have to purchase raw material. But when it comes to user manuals, right? Users manuals, you have to spend some amount, but it's not too much costly, right? Because user manual is very, like very, what you call, it takes very minimum amount of to uh, print that user manuals, right? So generally what they do is, for most common items which you send across all the packages, right? So for those they call as a non-planned items, means you no need to plan for them, right? Because you want to keep them in handy, because it won't take much amount into building that particular item. So whenever there's a planned item, non-planned item in the system, so what generally we do is ACP is mainly used for planning, right? Like for example, if I have this much of demand, like for example, next month I'm anticipating 30 sales orders from customer, right? So in advance I have to be prepared so that I can deliver those items to the
But
customer on time.
the mantra will doing the forecasting, na. So ACP how will.
I'm coming to that point. Okay,
Yes.
so whenever we are anticipating a demand, right? So in advance you have to be prepared to satisfy the demand, right? You should have enough warehouse stock to supply that goods to the customer.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Now, when I say demand, like for example, now we are in the month of May, right? In the month of July,
Yes.
you expect, okay, maybe I get order of 30 bikes from different customer from different locations, right? In the month of
Yes.
July, I have
Yes.
2 months of time. I have to be paid. I have to start manufacturing from today,
Yes.
right? So the demand which you're anticipating in future, right? Okay, in July I'm getting 30 orders. I might get, right. That
Yeah.
information is provided by Demantra.
Yes. Yes.
So that is the demand which you're getting, right?
Yeah.
But once you demand, then you have to plan for it, right? So if you are a manufacturing company, to manufacture a bike, what you need is, you need different raw material, right? Maybe
Yes.
you may not
Yes.
be having everything in your within your organization. You have to procure from other vendors, right?
Yes.
So to start manufacturing a bike, I need different raw material, different resources. Like I need a workers, I need a, what you call,
Yes.
machinery, right? So I have to plan for it, right? Like to
Yes.
manufacture one bike, what are the materials I need, how many resources are required, how much time it will take. These are
Yes.
all things is planned by AACP.
Yes.
Get that? So whatever demand you get from Demantra, you will feed that demand to ACP. On top of the demand what you get from Demantra, the ACP will try to or plan to generate a planned orders. Like I mean to say, it will try to give you suggestions like by when you have to manufacture that particular bike, so that you can satisfy your customer demand. You understand what is the role of ACP now?
Yeah. But okay. 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 The mantra will give the only forecasting, and
Yeah,
after that, Oracle ACP will do the planning, right?
correct. So it will try to get the proper resources. Basically, it will try to analyze, right? Like if we have 30 sales order in next month or some in the
Okay.
month of
Oracle the mantra will not calculate these lead
no,
time.
No. Demantra is only to generate a forecast.
Okay, all the raw material, transit time, all these OACP will cover, right?
Yes. Demantra will only looking at the past history demand. It will try to generate a future demand. It will not plan anything.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
So
good.
that's the reason. So you get data from EBS to ACP. So when you get data from EBS to ACP, like I'm talking about the organizations items, right? So as I mentioned, there could be two kind of items: planned items and non-planned items. So
Yes.
always you try to bring the planned items to ACP, because there's no need to plan a non-planned item, right? Because in bulk you'll keep on manufacturing and keep in stock. Okay, so ACP always holds the planned items. So Demantra also generate a focus only for the planned items. Okay, so even though, for example, if you have 100 items here in EBS, out of which 20 items are non-planned items, right? So when you run these ACP collections, only 80 items will come. 80 are planned, 20 are non-planned. So it won't collect any non-planned items. So
Planned,
similarly,
planned and unplanned items like make and buy items, right?
no, not make and buy item. See, planned item is the one which you are going to plan in future, okay,
Okay,
to
okay,
procure or to manufacture. Non-planned items are not like something uh, for packing, right? You need packing covers, right? For those
yes,
you don't need any planning, right?
okay, yes.
Do you need any
Photo
planning for
items,
that,
yes,
right? You can keep them manufacturing, keep in bulk, right, in one shot. Then you
yes.
need to no need to plan for that, right? So those kind of items you will not bring that to ACP.
Complete finished good. Okay.
Uh, Sorry, come again.
Finished good,
Meaning?
like finished good, like it is already prepared. Na, if you want to prepare the boxes, so it is already prepared. We don't need to assemble and all these things.
Uh, huh, but see, finished good also a planned item, right? You have to plan for a finished good, right? See,
Okay,
basically, when I say non-planned, the items which for you no need to plan in future. For example, you are labeling stickers, right?
okay,
So your logo, company logo stickers, right? For
yes,
them, you
yes,
don't need to plan for it, right? Like whenever you sell out your item, you always go for a logo. You sticker
yes,
your laptops or you sticker your bikes, right? For that, no need to left plan them, right? You know, okay, if I get some demand in future, I have to label my items, right? So for this case, the if items, you no need to go for a planning, right? See, planning items are the one where you want to buy it from somewhere else or you want to manufacture within your factory, right? Those kind of items you always plan it.
okay.
Okay, so
Intra
that's
unit. Okay,
okay. So always ASP holds the planned items. In the similar way, you pull only the planned items to Demantra. So I'll put this in the brackets. Okay, it's only planned items. Okay, here also planned items, but here you might have both. Okay, understood.
yes, yes.
1 minute, I'm getting a call. So, are you clear, Abhishek, on this? Or you have any questions?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So,
Yes,
whenever whenever um, if anyone asks about the flow of the data collections, right? So you should
okay.
always start with this one, right?
Standard. Okay,
Right, standard. Then if they say that how we go with the custom, then you should say this one. So
okay,
when you say custom, you should not always say Oracle EBS. It's a rare scenario. You should always say with non-Oracle EBS like SAP or Mi- Microsoft Dynamics, or it could be Salesforce,
but
something.
we are, in EBS we are doing also, no?
Yeah, see, it's a rare scenario with your client. Which client it is? That is any idea?
SGN, Scotia Gas Network, SGN.
Biogen?
Sorry?
Biogen?
Region is
No,
UK.
no. What's the client name? Sorry.
SGN, Scotia Gas Network.
Okay, okay. Because I saw some other customer following the same process which you mentioned. So
Okay.
there's a okay, that's fine. So now you are clear with this one, right?
Yes, yes.
No. Okay. Now, when it comes to this flow again, there are few important things you have to remember. Okay. When collecting data from EBS to ASCP, from ASCP to Demantra, so what are the staying? See, if you have ASCP access, right? Go and check this collection request set, right? You'll see lot of jobs within this request set. Okay, it has like 8 to 10 jobs. Okay,
Okay,
since I don't have access to ASCP, I cannot show that. But since you have client as ASCP, you can query for this request set, right? It has multiple jobs, but out of which there are two important jobs which you have to look at. Okay, one
okay,
is collection, collect, shipment, and bookings history.
okay.
One is collect level type, and there's one more launch download. So see, this is a request set. You know what is a request set, right?
Yeah, request is the complete where all requests will run.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
See, there are two things in ABS or in AC. Request set, basically, this is a concurrent request set.
Ah, okay. It's a uh, set of programs. Yeah.
Correct. It's a set
Yeah.
of programs, right? So
Programs. Yeah.
this collect, shipment, and booking history, a request set is set of programs. It has 7 to 8 programs, I think, but
Yes.
out of which these are three important programs which you have to remember. Okay.
Okay.
So within this request set, you'll find collect, shipment, and booking history. This program will get the sales order information to demonstrate staying table.
Okay.
Okay.
Staging time. Okay.
What's the name of the staying table? That is,
Yeah. Yeah. T
tell me,
underscore source underscore sales underscore uh, temp PL.
TM.
They are
Okay,
three. Yeah, there are three.
right. So whenever
Different.
you launch this, it gets the data to this particular table. Now tell me what is the collection level, collect level type in area. So basically, it triggers with two parameters. It actually triggers twice. Okay, as part of this request set, it
Okay.
triggers twice. Okay, basically it triggers twice. Same program it will trigger twice. One is with parameter one value,
Okay.
meaning it will try to collect the location information. Okay, and parameter value 2. So same program, it triggers it with parameter 1 it will loaded at location tmpl, parameter 2 it will loaded data to location item tmpl. Okay, so may I have to, I will put this way.
We have given two parameters in the same request set.
1 minute. Now tell me what you're saying.
Uh,
Tell me.
in the collect level type, we have given two parameters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, basically it will have only one parameter. Okay,
Okay.
but same program you'll be running twice.
Okay. Okay.
First it will run with parameter 1, and second it will run with parameter 2.
Okay.
Same, we have only one parameter, we are running with two different parameters two times, twice.
Okay. Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Now, so next important thing is, if you see the sequence of the load, right? Sequence of the, okay, sorry, I forgot this. What is the launch download? It has two parameter values. Yes or no? Okay. So basically, in general, right, in most of the scenarios, you'll always keep this launch download to no. Okay. So the reason for this launch download or the use of this launch download is, once your data in the staying tables, you want to load the data to Demantra base tables, or you want to stop at the staying table itself, right? So if you mark this as a parameter as no, generally what happens is, once this request set completes it, it will keep the data in the staying tables itself. It
Same.
will not proceed further. It will not insert the data into the base tables. Okay. But if you mark this as launch download to S, whatever the data in the staying table, it will process to the Demantra staging tables. So as part of this one, when you mark it as
Mantra,
S,
staging table or base tables?
base tables, when you mark it has been marked as S, it will launch EBS full download
Okay.
workflow in Demantra. Okay, so it will trigger. So the one which you mentioned me, right? EP load main, right? You mentioned, right? So EP load main. Basically, the EP load main which you're talking about, right? When I asked you about the flow, so this EBS full download internally will call this EP load main procedure. Okay, so whenever you mark this launch download as S, so the request set first trigger the staying tables. If it finds it as S, it will launch the EBS full download in Demantra, which internally calls this EBS main load, and it will load the data into the your Demantra staying table, sorry, base tables, sage data table, MDB matrix,
MDB.
other level tables, like
Hmm.
T underscore EP underscore item, T underscore EP underscore organizations, etc. Okay, so basically this is a flow. Okay,
Okay.
any questions so far?
Mm, no.
Now tell me, why I have written in this sequence, say its location sign item, why not in other order? Why it's loading only data in this specific
Because if we will run this request set, first uh, cell data will like move to Demantra. After that location, then item. I think.
why like that? Why can't I move items and locations first and then cells?
Mm, because we need the series, like we need the sales data first, I think.
Why you need, see, you need sales data, location, item, that's correct,
Yes.
but why you are loading first sales and then item and location?
Mhm. Maybe it standard process. It's a
I'll tell
series,
you.
na? These are series, right? Sales, location.
No, I'll tell you the logic why it is.
Okay.
See, basically, generally what happens, why you load sales first is, for example, let's assume you have 10 items, okay?
Yes.
Out of 10 items, you already stopped selling 2 items, already outdated. Okay,
Okay.
you don't have any sales for that 2 items, right?
Okay.
For example, if I am doing items first, for example, what it will do, it will pull all 10 items to Demantra.
Yes. Yes.
But why I want those 2 items to Demantra, which I'm not at all selling anymore?
Uh,
Unnecessary you're Demantra, right? Unnecessary you're loading those items to Demantra,
yes.
correct?
Yes.
Or they could be planned on non-planned items, right? Maybe by mistake, if your item table is non-planned items, that will also go through, right? So
Yes.
basically, why you load sales first is based on the sales data, because when you load the sales table, it was item information, organ customer information, right? So based on the sales history, what you have in the sales table, it will load the item table, it will load the location table.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the reason you have this sequence when you load uh, uh, from using a collections to staying table. I'm talking mainly about the staying table, okay? Not
Okay.
about the demantra load. I'm talking about the staying tables. What sequence the staying tables gets loaded? Staying table sequences sales table first, location table, item table. When you're populating the staying table. But when you're loading data from staying table to demantra, the sequence will be different.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're loading data from staying table to base table, the sequence would be items, locations,
Sales.
and sales.
Why? So
Mm.
sales is already there.
So when you load the, this is the sequence. When you load from staying to Demantra base tables. Okay, so this is a very important thing which you have to understand. Most of the people will ask, okay, so what is the sequence you load? So staying table should be this flow, and when you load from staying to base tables, this should be the flow.
Okay.
Item location system. Okay, you know the reason why?
Yes. Why we are loading in this sequence?
Okay, so basically, Demantra works based on the combinations concept, right? Combinations it has to create first, right? So,
Okay.
if I try to load the sales history first, right? So,
Mm.
for example, this is my fresh Demantra system. Today only I installed it. Okay, I'm trying to load the data.
Okay.
Okay, you have prepared sales file. You are trying to populate the sales data into the Demantra system, right? But it all the records will get error out. Reason is you don't have item in the system, you don't have a customer in the system, you don't have an organization in the system. How will you load the
Okay.
data? Right?
Right.
So
Right.
for that, yeah,
Yeah. Item should be there. Right.
correct. Item locations should be there. Then
Okay.
only you can load the sales history. So that's the sequence. So staying tables is sales, locations, and items. But when it goes to the staying to base table, it should be items, locations, and sales history.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you repeat again for when we are loading the data in the first staging table? Why we are loading in this one? Sales location item. Actually, I did not get it.
See, basically, what we generally do is only for the items which are sales history, those kind of items will populate with the item table table.
Okay.
We don't populate all the items, we populate only those items which has history. So once you load the history, maybe this table may have the 100 items, so only those item will gets copied to the item table. In the same way, out of those items you have only two arcs, only those two arcs will get copied to the location table, that way,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes. Got it.
Now tell me, mm, what are the error tables for the staging?
Hmm. Error tables for
Yeah,
staging.
any idea?
I have go through, but
See, simple to remember. Array tables always ends with ERR. Okay.
yeah. Right.
Same table name, it ends with ERR.
Okay.
So easy to remember. Okay.
Okay.
Clear.
Yes. Sorry.
So we'll stop here in this one. Let's go to the application. Okay. We'll try to query these tables. Okay.
Okay.
See, this is my first staging table. Okay.
Okay.
So later we'll see what are the important columns which you have to populate when you are trying to load the data to this particular table. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have one more item. This is, and then you have one more location.
Yeah. Okay. So it's item.
Right. So similarly have three more tables. Historia, Historia, Historia. No error records, no error records, no error records.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the important tables which you have to remember. So now we discussed about this first part, right?
Yes.
This first part, right?
Okay.
So second part is also same, okay? Same way, but the only thing is Oracle integration in Demantra. In this case, so whatever the data you are loading to the staging tables, right? That has come through a custom collections. Using the custom code, you will populate all the staging tables. So
Okay.
there will be a standard process for it. You have to manually write your code,
Okay.
populate the tables with the proper data fields with proper data.
Okay. Custom procedure, right?
Custom procedure, custom package, the one
Package.
which is using your custom serve with your client.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Got it.
Yeah.
We are doing the same practice, like in my project now we are doing the
Correct.
custom package. Yes.
Right. So what you can do is
But we are using the EBS, so it's a EBS. So why we are doing this?
come again.
Like we are using the EBS, na Oracle EBS.
Okay.
So, but even we are using the custom package.
No, that's
Okay.
what I said, right? You're not using ACP.
Okay. Prior I was not using.
You have ACP application, but I think they first implemented EBS and they implemented Oracle Demantra. So
Okay.
at that
Then
point of time, there was no ACP, so they went to the custom collections. Later on, they implemented ACP. Okay,
okay.
so they don't
Okay.
want to they don't want to redesign the system. Just they kept it as it is. What is the existing one? Okay, so
Okay.
what you can do is, if you have a technical, are you good in PLC code? Can you understand the
No, no,
coding?
actually, I'm not good in English.
Okay, so it's better you learn like basics of sequels, right?
Okay.
Because as a Demantra consultant, right, it's good always to have the minimum basic knowledge of sequels. Okay,
Okay.
small procedures, small packages, small. statements. If you are a good, then that's additional advantage. Like if
Okay.
you have an idea of reading the code, if you read this custom collection process right in your project, that will clearly explain what I try to explain so far, right? How they are
Okay.
loading it, what kind of fields they're populating. That will
Yes.
give more idea. Like if any technical analyst in your team, right, who can help you out in understanding that. If you sometime go through that, that would be very helpful.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this on the collection parts.
Okay.
Okay, so what we do, we'll stop here today,
Okay.
because
Okay.
tomorrow we'll try to load some sample data.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll show you like what are the important columns you have to consider when you are loading sales TMPL, location TMPL, item TMPL, right? Then how you what you call it, the error records, how to troubleshoot that. Those all we'll see tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so go through this. If you want, I can share this sheet. Go through
Okay.
this. If you
Yeah, please. Yeah.
we can continue tomorrow. Okay, just ping your mail ID on groups, right? In
Yeah.
WhatsApp group, I can send this sheet to you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay, we'll close for today.